Happy New Year's. This is our January 14th, 2026 meeting. And this is our annual meeting also too. And I'd like to welcome the county executive with us here today, Adam Miller.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Go ahead and kick off here.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Thank you, Hanif. First of all, good afternoon now. Happy New Year to all of you. I just want to start by thanking all of you for your service to our community and for the critical role that you play in the economic development ecosystem that we have supporting our small businesses as well as our workforce. Before I get into a couple things that I wanted to talk about that I'm most proud of, I do have a few business items that we have to do. I need to reappoint a few members, and I didn't say hello to these members when I came in, so you're not really allowed to say no. You're really obligated to continue serving because I will just say it. So the board members being reappointed, Hanif Abdul Wahid, Tim Brown, Ryan Feltner, Chris Johnston, Brett Owen, Zach Phillips, and Eric Rogers. So congratulations to the reappointed board members. And this morning, I also am pleased to appoint officers for the coming year. Again, you're not allowed to say no because it's done. So our president who will continue his service, Hanif Abdul Wahid. So congratulations, Hanif, and thank you for agreeing to continue your service. Vice president will be Chris Johnston, treasurer Jeff Barker, and secretary Eric Rogers. So congratulations to all of our members and our leadership team. And of course, I want to thank Anna Liss and the team here as well for all of their help and support of the board. So now the public who's watching from home may or may not be aware of this, but all of you certainly are. Obviously, this is a volunteer board, and we appreciate the time that you take away from your families, your other responsibilities, your work, certainly that you have to help us here. And I really am proud of the work that MCIDC does. Also, its other entity, Comida, that operates out of this room as well, that the investments that you make, number one, in supporting small businesses, a lot of work is often done behind the scenes, as well as supporting our workforce. And it's important that we make investments in our workforce programs because as there's incentives that are being offered to new industry and business to grow here and do business here, and as we continuously recruit all these new companies to come and be here, it's important that we have the workforce available to both build what they're looking to build and then work in the businesses that they're opening. So it's really important to me. And so the work that you're doing and the partnership has been incredible. So with our small business support, the microloan program has been very, very successful. This is the ARPA-funded program that came through the board. We have supported, and I have been run into businesses all the time out there. I think it's over 100 businesses now that have taken advantage of the microloan program through the American Rescue Plan dollars that you guys are managing. But what's great about this program that's different than the other ARPA programs is because it's a loan program, it creates a revolving fund, it defederalizes the dollars as well as the money is paid back, so that you not only are you helping the small business, you're actually helping MCIDC to be able to figure out different ways to invest those dollars in the future. So it really is a nice self-sustaining model and has been very successful. Looking at the Equip Monroe program, Hanif and I did a press conference last year kicking off the Equip Monroe program, thinking about, again, other ways to support small businesses. And then with the training program, manufacturing, CDL training, talent retention programs. Also, though, the connection with youth that we do is critically important. I was just with, this morning, a number of young people, 7th graders, for their career day, talking about different career fields, how do you get into different careers, and what schooling and training and things like that you need. But I'm a really big supporter of trying to figure out ways to open kids' minds and so they could see the opportunities in front of them for career paths that they may not have known had existed, but also for career paths, importantly, that don't even really need, that college degree, that debt that you come out with, that I certainly came out of school with. You really don't need that for a lot of these different career paths that are open, that are good paying jobs with good benefits and good opportunities for advancement. And so different ways that we can think about doubling down our efforts to really reach these young people and show them what opportunities are in front of us I think are important. Now we're going to have some challenges going into this year. Obviously the bond fee income that you guys drive as well can help, helps with these, being able to make these investments. And you had some really big bond deals over the last couple of years that drove some dollars into MCIDC. But we are going to have some challenges here, right? As we're coming into 2026, into 2027. There's a lot of new work requirements that are around things like for SNAP beneficiaries, for Medicaid beneficiaries. There's a lot of more investment that's going to have to be made, not just by MCIDC, but through the whole, I'll use the term ecosystem again, but through the whole system here in terms of how we're reaching people, how we're investing in workforce training, and how we're connecting people with job opportunities. And I think that's something that MCIDC and the county, we could all be working together on to figure out how we can play a role, helping to make sure that individuals are keeping the employment that they need and finding employment opportunities as well. I'm also looking forward to looking at ways, and I've spoken to Anna Liss, and thanks to her leadership and the team here, looking at ways too that we might be able to leverage funding between the COMITA board and the MCIDC board, where there's common goals, right, that we have, and common alignment here to invest some of the funds that you've received into the greater economy. So whether or not that's looking to help again, support the workforce, but whether or not we could be looking at infrastructure investments, looking at where our site selections happening around the county that we could be making some additional investments in infrastructure to help incentivize, recruit, and support new industry and new development that's coming to the county. I think there's a lot of opportunity to do that as well, because one thing I keep hearing repeatedly out there is the need to invest in infrastructure, whether that's sewers, power infrastructure certainly is important, but trying to really focus on shovel-ready sites is a big piece of this in addition to the workforce. And I think that there are some ways that with a common team that supports both of the boards, there's a lot of ways to work together to make some significant investments. So I feel really good about where the board is. Again, just wanted to be here at the beginning of your meeting today to thank you for your service and your continued openness and willingness to also just think creatively and be creative about how we're supporting in your regular function, obviously through the bond issuances that you support, but then also thinking creatively about how to utilize the loan fund, how to utilize the fees that you've collected to reinvest back into the economy. And it's that creativity in how we make these investments that I think will pay dividends down the road. So thank you very much for all of your work and your support of these initiatives. Appreciate it. You're welcome.
Thank you, Adam, for having confidence in us, and we hope going forward this year that the things that you mentioned, they all come to fruition.
Yeah.
And we want to work very closely with COMITA this year and try to look at how we get some of this money back out into the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good opportunity. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So,
Take care.
thank you very much, guys.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Enjoy the rest of your meeting. Thank you. Hey, man. How's it going? Yeah, I'm sorry. I stole your seat, so I'm at it. All right. Thanks, guys. All right.
Anna, you're on right now, okay, for the
Yes.
annual report?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here today. It was really wonderful to hear. It's our annual presentation from the county executive, appointment and reappointment of board members and officers. This is our annual meeting. Historically, we used to do these in December, but it's actually a little easier to do them in January because December gets crazy with the holidays and closing out the year. And of course, we didn't have a December meeting, so we haven't seen all of you since November. So happy New Year. As we reflect on 2025, I want to start by just grounding us all in reminding you of MCIDC's mission, which is to provide resources to qualified for-profit businesses and not-for-profit organizations, resulting in retention and creation of jobs and economic opportunity in Monroe County and in the surrounding region. And if you'll bear with me for a moment, just a quick little history lesson. The Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation was established November 2nd, 1962. November 2nd is also Robin's birthday.
Oh.
In 1962, Nelson Rockefeller was governor. We're going to be 64 years old as an organization this year. The 60s in Rochester was a time of big development and change.
I think Bill was there.
Midtown Plaza. Midtown Plaza had just opened up, the Class of Nations. There were emerging social conflicts and ongoing economic shifts, urban renewal. It was all before the more explosive racial tensions of the mid-60s. We look ahead this week to the coming weekend celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and as we reckon and reflect on the moment we're living in right now, it feels a little bit like a full circle moment. 2025, 2026 find Rochester similarly in kind of a swirl of economic and social and political change and conflict in the country, and where MCIDC exists, where Monroe County Economic Development exists as a resource to address issues and challenges that the market won't necessarily correct on its own. So we have a swim lane that we're swimming in, and we want to continue leaning into our mission and our purpose. This year's story is one of scale and modernization and impact, and I'm really proud of what this board and our partners and staff have accomplished together. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your volunteer commitment, wisdom, and experience that you bring to the table every day, every month. And I especially want to thank our board president, Hanif Abdul Wahid, and our county executive, Adam Bello, for stewardship and oversight of our work and allowing myself and the talented staff here to facilitate a vision for a more prosperous and productive Monroe County economy for employers and for our workforce. So with that, I want to look at some numbers, a snapshot of the past year as reflected in some key metrics. These are really conservatively rounded numbers for context, but I think as we get through the presentation, you'll see the scale of our impact is probably much greater than what's kind of quantified here. So in 2025, we served more than 222 businesses. We supported over $20 million in new company investments, and we impacted more than 300 jobs in Greater Rochester, Monroe County, and the surrounding area through our direct lending and our incentive programs. And at the same time, we facilitated more than $1 billion in tax-exempt bond transactions. We reinvested over $400,000 into workforce and community programs. And all of these numbers collectively represent both breadth and depth, supporting small businesses while also enabling transformational large-scale projects. And so I want to kind of, I'm going to more or less skip over what's reflected here in this slide, but I'm not going to skip over the slide entirely. It doesn't tell a meaningful story. It's instead here to show you the year-by-year incentives out the door through kind of the legacy programs that we've had in place since the 90s. In 2025, we moved to consolidate our rebates and rein in double dipping by some frequent flyers, repeat beneficiaries over the years, communicated to staff that these programs weren't necessarily incentivizing investment and jobs. The purchases and hiring that were already planned or underway had been underwritten essentially by some programs because of a cohort of legacy applicants, all qualified, great partners. They were accustomed to the benefit. So this was a signal to us that we needed to take a closer look at program structure and process. So in 2025, we consolidated and updated this portfolio, so thus you can see the metrics of performance winnowed down since 2022. While that might indicate that we're not supporting businesses to the same extent that we were, you'll see that thanks to your involvement, your guidance, and the staff's hard work, we've successfully pivoted to the Equip Monroe program that the county executive talked about, and continued growth of our micro lending portfolio this past year, meaning these numbers only tell part of the story, but not the most compelling part of the story. So Equip Monroe, this is one of the most important things that we did in 2025. We modernized how MCIDC shows up for employers, and the rationale for this was gleaned not just from the need to tweak our legacy programs, but also from rapidly rising and unpredictable costs tied to tariff policies this past year. One significant example. So Equip Monroe was introduced in May, and it is a streamlined, easy-to-use rebate program focused squarely on job retention. And with new job creation, businesses can actually qualify for enhanced rebates as well. And just in its first year, we approved 49 rebates, which totaled $163,500. And we're already seeing strong uptake because the program is simple, predictable, and responsive to employer needs in today's economic landscape. So definitely something that we want to continue to finesse and build upon. The other key highlight is our Micro Advantage loan program. So here I'm going to show you a video.
My name is Shannon Halligan, and I own Halligan Creative Arts Therapy. I had received the COVID relief fund, so I knew about the Micro Advantage county loan through that, and it allowed me to have a down payment to purchase a building to expand my staff and our services. I recognized the need for expansion at the end of 2020 when more people were seeking mental health services, so we grew from 2 employees and we are now at 11. It's exciting and it's surreal. I never imagined I could have bought a building at this point in my career, and I feel like it's a way I can just grow our therapies awareness in the community and then also serve people who are looking for mental health services. I had no idea all of the supports for small businesses in Monroe County, and they really believe in your business and they will partner with you on the mission to grow and expand and be a small business owner in this county, and it's a program that I could never accomplish what I've accomplished without their support.
So that's Halligan Creative Arts Therapy. Halligan is notably a business that she mentioned she initially came to us for a COVID loan years ago, which turned into a COVID grant, came to us for a micro loan, and then we worked with her to qualify the business for a 504. So really a bright shining star in the portfolio for 2025.
Did we pay her for that ad?
We did not. She did this, our communications colleagues over across the street in the county executive office. Right,
yeah.
right. So a success story. It's always good to hear from the constituents that we're serving, the actual people that we're serving on the ground. Our Micro Advantage loan program continues to be a cornerstone of my MCIDC's small business support, and this is particularly true for MWBEs and for first-time borrowers. The whole intent here was to work with micro enterprise businesses, entrepreneurs that weren't necessarily ready for prime time, weren't necessarily ready for a 504, or to enter into a conversation with a real bank, and get them in the door with a micro loan, and then help shore them up for readiness for larger, bigger, and better growth and lending. And that's been very successful. I'm especially proud to share that we are on track to meet all ARPA-funded program goals by February, next month, 10 months ahead of schedule. This is a testament to strong program design, intentional outreach, and deep partnerships in our community, and thanks to each and every one of you here today. We've gotten close to $4.7 million out the door of the $4.8 million in ARPA funds in the form of needed small business support since we kicked this off in mid-2023. And by a measure of 300%, we overshot the ARPA goal for loans to MWBE businesses, getting over $3.2 million to 27 MWBE borrowers. So that's just about 100 loans out the door as of today and counting. And I want to pause here to thank Allison Clark, Shamika Hutto, Ashley Million, Chad Weber, and Tony and Craig on our team and beyond for their stalwart leadership and dedicated work in making the program such a success. It's arguably, if not the most successful ARPA program in Monroe County that the county has funded, and you'll recall that ARPA dollars have to be fully spent by the end of 2026. So we're ahead of schedule and we're performing better than.
Self-sustaining because the money comes back.
That's right, defederalizing, as the county executive said. So we paired this program and its capital with capacity building, offering one-on-one coaching, workshops, and technical assistance. We have an incredible partnership with Vargas Associates, which is led by Nakia Vargas, a local entrepreneur with whom we connected thanks to Hanif back in 2023. She teaches at the Golisano Institute and offers tremendous technical assistance to entrepreneurs at every stage of the learning curve. And she hosted 6 virtual workshops in 2025 for our borrowers and interested loan applicants and helped shepherd at least 12 microenterprises from being intimidated by the lending process to successfully getting a loan. And we focused on getting the word out too through our partnerships with organizations like WDKX, City Paper, WXXI, Poder, and Minority Reporter. We generated more than 1 million media impressions, and we ensured that the programs reached businesses that they were designed to serve. And this is just a screen grab from one of Nakia's virtual workshops that she did. Our 504 program has also had a tremendously strong year, and this is arguably our bread and butter program. This is a core of our work since our earliest days. In 2025, we approved 14 loans totaling $6.2 million in SBA financing, which leveraged nearly $16 million in total project investments. And 14 loans is something to celebrate because it's the most approvals we've seen since before 2017. The last year we got close to that number was in 2022 with 13 approvals, and the economic landscape was quite different in 2022 in terms of interest rates. These projects supported 66 new jobs and helped retain 230 existing positions. This was primarily through commercial real estate purchases and expansions. And manufacturing is our #1 sector, making up nearly 40% of our portfolio. Here I want to pause to recognize and thank Tony Sharaba and Craig Degener. They are detail-oriented and they are knowledgeable and creative, and we couldn't do our work without them. They keep close relationships going with the SBA locally and nationally, and keep us on the ball. So thank you to Tony and Craig for ensuring that we have a strong SBA capital. The revolving loan fund in 2025, another accomplishment that's worth noting is that we finalized a new framework and policy for our revolving loan fund, which gave the board and staff greater flexibility with regard to the program while maintaining strong oversight. In 2025, we approved 3 new RLF deals, which totaled $460,000 with an outstanding portfolio balance of nearly $1.9 million across 9 active loans. This program gives MCIDC the ability to bridge financing needs where the 504 program or a microloan can't necessarily apply, and it's a really crucial resource, and we'll come back to talking about the revolving loan fund. And then speaking of our bread and butter, bond activity. Bond issuance remains a major pillar of MCIDC's work. This is the primary way that MCIDC brings in revenues to support our important incentives and our community investments. In 2025 alone, we supported 5 bond transactions totaling approximately $1 billion, generating more than $1.65 million in bond fee revenues to MCIDC. These are dollars that support our operating capacity and our investments. And 5 deals is a big deal because, as you see here, it's the most volume we've seen since 2017, which was an outlier year for tax-exempt bond deals. And here I want to thank Barry Kerrigan, our attorney, for his great work in getting MCIDC out into the ring as the preferred partner in Greater Rochester for tax-exempt bond issuance. He's leaning into that. So that brings us to our funded programs. MCIDC invested $400,600 in workforce and community programs in 2025, including the Career Ladders program at the Rochester Museum and Science Center, the Economic Gardening, Business Retention and Expansion program at Greater Rochester Enterprise, BOCES Summer Advanced Manufacturing Experience Program and CDL training programs, and RTMA's Rock With Your Hands, and our signature Retain program, which is now administered by the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce, which is focused on retention of college and university and community college and trade school graduates in Monroe County. These investments reflect that our belief that economic development only works when talent development keeps pace with industry demand. So that's a total of $400,600. I don't want to walk through every single statistic on these slides. I'm just going to run through quickly, but I do want to underscore the real world impact. We've engaged with thousands of students and visitors to the Greater Rochester region. Employers gaining access to skilled workers are served by MCIDC's investments. Young professionals are choosing to stay, work, and build their lives in Monroe County as a result of MCIDC, and these outcomes are exactly why we exist. The Career Ladder program at the Rochester Museum and Science Center is in partnership with Autism Up and supports many young adults in career exploration through a pathway to employment at the museum and beyond. The Economic Gardening program at Greater Rochester Enterprise is award-winning on a national scale, and we couldn't host the program without our financing and support. 24 companies benefited from economic gardening in 2025, and 19 of the alumni economic gardening companies were honored in the 2025 Rochester Top 100. The Summer Advanced Manufacturing Experience Program, as administered by BOCES, is one of the most popular youth summer experience programs in Monroe County. 88 students have completed it since 2017. It's a really impactful initiative. 150 students complete, Monroe One's alumni cohort since 2017 is 88 students, and 150 have been involved through Monroe to Orleans BOCES since 2012. The CDL training program is another highlight. Again, I don't want to go through these talking points in depth, but tremendous performance. There's a lot of demand for CDLs, and our resources help BOCES pay for vehicles, successfully retrofit a testing site, and hire examiners. And Rock With Your Hands every year, as hosted by RTMA. Well, it's only been in place since 2022, and again, thanks to MCIDC's support, this impacts thousands of kids, 1,500 students at the 2025 event, 50 different schools participating, exposing kids to careers in manufacturing and heavy equipment operation and construction. And then, of course, Retain. This had been a program that was hosted in-house, and now it's facilitated and staffed by the Campus Rock team over at the Chamber, and they've really grown the program by leaps and bounds, and participants are getting $4,000 voucher payouts, and the Chamber offers them several opportunities to network and benefit from professional development and training opportunities, and it's gotten some really positive news coverage in our community as well. So that brings us to our look forward to 2026 and beyond. I just want to first thank all of you once again for your leadership, your flexibility, your trust, and our partners in the county who make the work possible to our board president, Hanif Abdul-Wahid. Thank you so much for your patience and dedication and commitment to the cause for so many years. You're supportive of staff and you allow us the room to be creative. MCIDC is well positioned, financially sound, and aligned with the economic realities facing our employers and workforce. I'm excited about where we're headed next, and I look forward to continuing the work together. And I just want to point out some of the goals and priorities for the year ahead. We want to continue to finesse that revolving loan fund initiative, make sure that the revolving loan fund has adequate resources to meet the evolving needs of our businesses in a challenging point in time for the economy. That will, with the defederalization of the ARPA dollars at the end of this year, it gives us time, it gives us an opportunity to look at a way to blend the microloan initiative and the revolving loan fund to create kind of a tiered, laddered up lending program that can lead borrowers up to the 504 program more successfully. We want to continue looking at our workforce programs and get rid of redundancies, more proactively connect with community partners to make sure that we're meeting the moment, and just ensure that our programs meet today's needs of employers and of the workforce. And of course, too, item number 4 here is about marketing. We want to continue to get the word out. We want to make sure that people on the ground know that the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation is a resource that exists to support them, and that we are part of Monroe County economic development, and that our doors are open and we are always available for a conversation, no matter where a business or an entrepreneur or a job seeker is in their journey. So that's going to be an area of focus. And in 2025, we really kicked off the first phase of a modernization effort for all of the reasons as I encapsulated in my comments here today. And then looking ahead to the new year, again, enhancing the microloan, reassessing incentives, evaluating workforce programs, and enhancing our strategic partnerships and marketing. So that'll be phase 2 of modernization, and we won't be able to accomplish that without your involvement and your volunteer support. So with that, I want to close and open it up to your comments, questions, observations, and concerns. And thank you for indulging me. I appreciate it.
I have a 2-part question on the
Sure.
microloan program. So how will that be funded, like, going forward in the immediate term? Because I know, like, we're getting paid back, but I got to imagine, like, that payback period is somewhat long on these grants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will it be funded just from the MCIDC budget, or is it have to be a self-sustaining program?
It is self-sustaining. The terms of most of these loans, if not all of them, are 5 years, and the payback period commences pretty imminently. So it is self-sustaining. And I don't know if Greg, Allison, if you have any technical notes on that question as to how we continue to fund it. I think because we've performed so well, we are in a healthy position to continue at the same clip that we've been on, right, in terms of serving small
I don't know
businesses.
we'd be getting quite as much out,
Okay,
cause we were putting over $1 million out a year in microloans, so I don't know that we would keep doing that. Greg,
Yeah, I
you
think the
would
same
do
thing,
it,
is like,
yeah.
I think the board would have to decide on how much we wanna continue to do, right? Like, is it, you know, I would say that, you know, if I just look at a pure our bank account that we can, you know, we keep that micro loan cash all separate, right? And so, I think as of like today, or as of December, we probably have $1.3 million in there. Now, remember, $500,000 of that started with the IDC's funds. So, let's just think about pure basic, that's $800,000 of excess or cash of that fund, less expenses, less everything else that is generated, right? That is really from the micro loan program. So that is kind of bare bones, where I would say that that's where that sits. If the board and you know, decides to do more and take that out of current working capital of the organization because of the financial stability of where we are, that's a different story. That would be up to, you know, the folks in this room, I think.
Okay,
And then, so that brings to the second part, since your team and you have done such a fantastic job and we're gonna be well ahead of schedule, is there ARPA-funded programs at the county that aren't doing well that we could take money from and then bring more money into this?
that's a very timely question. So there are conversations about that very topic happening in the county office building right now.
February, we should have some news for you in February. March.
Yes, February or March, look for an update from us, but we feel confident that we'll be able to get those resources out the door just in the same way that we did with the 4.8 million.
Since our mission statement is surrounding counties, is there ARPA money in surrounding counties that is not being lent out?
We are not lending any any Monroe County ARPA dollars to non-Monroe County businesses.
Well, could we, if they are not able to get their money out by the end of '26?
Not under our current ARPA contract.
Okay.
We have to.
So we would have to have a new contract.
At 27, we can have that conversation. That's
Because
why
I think I read somewhere where some of the counties are having difficulty in terms of getting that money out, some of the more rural counties.
Oh, I see, okay, that's good information.
Yeah,
But, right, in 2027,
it's open
Well,
for whatever the board
We-
wants to
They'll
do.
just have to give the money back, but unfortunately for us, fortunately for us,
cause we
we're
have,
definitely not.
we
in
can
that
get it
boat.
out.
Yeah.
we can. Other questions, comments?
So on the marketing side, to me, it's all, the key there has always been, are we calling and making presentations to the banks? So are there goals and objectives in terms of that for '26?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. In 2026, we plan to get out the door and do banker presentations, just in the same manner that we did a handful of years ago. So we're working on a plan related to that, and we'll report back to the board on schedule, cadence, but our staff is reaching out to banks.
Yeah, so, I'd like to thank, Anna and the, staff, Allison, Robin, Tony and, Craig for the, outstanding work that, is being done here. One thing that the county executive did say that, they're looking forward to, and it's been like this since I've been here. We do have a sister board, which is, Comida. But there's a tendency to always keep, each of us in different rooms, somewhat to the degree. I don't think that we've ever really even had anything socially, in terms of that. But I think this year, we should try to reach out, and have maybe a little small retreat, and see if there are some things that, we can commonly do. And, sort of look at, the landscape together to see if there's, some blind spots, for us, some opportunities for us, and, see where we're at, with that. I mean,
Great idea.
I've been on this board quite some time now, and I can't recall, ever, board presidents, you know, having those type of conversations, so.
Let's make it happen.
I don't know if we're, to stay separate, if that's a thing that you all think that, we should continue to do, but I just think that we need to have a conversation.
I agree, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And there's no formal reason as to why there's not like a cross-pollination between Comida and MCIDC. They're of course two separate organizations with different powers and capabilities, but very similar missions. So, we will enact that goal for 2026, so stay tuned. We'll work with you on that.
Well, I think we have to ask, Robin and Allison, because, they're staff for both of the boards, you know. Do you think that that's a good idea?
I defer to Anna, the executive director of both boards.
I think it stands to reason,
Yeah.
like, you know, for the same reason that I'm the executive director of both boards and we have similar missions, and Monroe County Economic Development
Yeah,
is
but
encompassing of.
I was
MCIDC
looking at them,
and
they were chatting down there like, oh, well, we're gonna have to.
That's
something-
more work for us,
This
right?
this is gonna be more work for us.
Right.
If we keep these boards separate.
No,
we're not-
you can ask, our greens are already going.
I know.
Well, you know what we're gonna do to start, Hanif, is we will, facilitate a conversation at our level, and then we're gonna bring you in,
Yeah.
and Truman Toll-Free
We'll
is
do
the
it,
chair of the
yeah.
Comida board. I think let's get together and talk about it. Of course, anytime MCIDC meets, anytime Comida meets, it's a public meeting.
Sure.
It has to be, you know, noticed and open to the public, so we have to take an approach to that, an appropriate approach to convening that group together, but, I think it's a worthy idea.
Yeah, it's all exploratory for me. I mean, I'd like to understand, where we both sit, within the community, and is there some opportunities? I mean.
This may be a dumb question, but
Yeah.
I've lost track of what Comida does now. Is it strictly tax incentives? That's it.
Property tax abatements, sales tax exemptions, and mortgage reporting tax exemptions, we've introduced in the last couple of years a focus on, you know, helping smaller businesses avail themselves of the sales tax exemptions, where in the past it was a little bit harder for them to access that benefit. And then furthermore, since the Fairlife project, and with the introduction of some new and growing state grant programs, Comida, under the direction of the county executive, is gonna get more involved in shovel-ready site development and infrastructure. So that is all, it all kind of marries together nicely with a focus on small business and the economy and prosperity. And also Comida has a workforce development fund. We take some of the project fee revenues, reinvest those into workforce programs. So, there's some complementary, synergies.
So that's why we're kept separate, you know? But to, like I said, it would be exploratory, I guess, first for us. You know, we do something socially or whatever, to do that, and maybe we, you know, I talk with the president of the board or whatever. However that is, we're gonna have the staff, somewhat facilitate that, and, we can look forward to that, during the coming year. I think the other things also too is that, we can look at, a lot of the programs that we have funded, and, we can go back to some of the, programs that was up here that really showed promise, and maybe ask them to, if they can find a way to increase, in getting more dollars out also too. There's a couple of programs that, we thought that, they should have asked for more money in terms of, what they were
CDL,
supposed
right.
to do. Yeah,
These two.
so, we'll try to look at those things and, see where we're at with it, you know? But, I'm really excited about the micro loan program, that was successful. That's gonna pay a nice dividend for us, and that is gonna be very, very helpful for the community. Should really be proud of that. And I remember when we were first trying to, do the strategies to get it out of the door, you know? The stress that was on Tony's face, you know? When
He had a full head of hair.
we had to get this out by 2026, and, oh, my goodness, you know. But it did work out, and, because of that, we're in a good place, and, we had a very, very good year last year, so, we're hoping for even a better one this year. But once again, congratulations to, the staff. They've been outstanding as always. They keep us engaged, and informed, and, it keeps us empowered, you know, so.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need approval of, the prior, minutes meetings, I think that was the November meeting.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, where's the local labor? We could've,
Kevin.
I'm sorry we had you here all day long.
That's okay. Strip us lunch schedule.
There's
Yeah.
interesting stuff. There's no food for me though, is there?
Not yet.
Look at that.
Well, we got a big spread coming, you should stay. It's
You've
on
had me
its
long
way.
enough, right? So, I'll start with our December 2025 report. I also have the annual report for 2025. So this covers our visits between the 1st and the 31st of December, for which we made 6 monthly site visits. There were 0 follow-up visits made in the month of December. We checked residency with 131 workers. We had no issues of non-compliance, and there were no new signs delivered during that period. Any questions on December? So then I also have our 2025 annual report covering our visits between the 1st of January 2025 and December 31st, 2025, for which we made 89 site visits. We made 6 follow-up visits, checked residency with 3,619 workers, only 12 issues of non-compliance. We had 3 new MCIDC signs delivered in 2025. There's 100% average compliance on the initial site visit, and all sites were 100% compliant within 24 hours of their initial visit. Questions there?
No, that's it. Any questions for Kevin? All right,
Have
thank
a
you.
great day.
Thank you.
You have to thank God that, ice didn't go with him, you know?
Unheard of.
Can we, financial report, correct?
Okay. I'll try to be brief, get us a little bit maybe back on track here, right? So preliminary results for our year end, you know, you can see the financials, you know, like I said, what Anna has said, you know, probably one of the best years, maybe on record here. Cash balance is, you know, very healthy, continues to be. We did have a lot of activity in December. We closed on 2 bonds in December, approximately $1.3 million fee revenue in the month of December. We turned around and purchased 2 treasuries at the end of December. One for, both for $500,000 each, continuing with our ladder process. One goes out into 2027, and then one that is in the middle of 2026. We also had a maturity, a $500,000 maturity in December that we renewed and did the same thing. So you can see our investment portfolio continues to remain strong, and we continue to follow our investment policy. Micro loan, again, just want to give you like a year-to-date look at what that looks like. So year-to-date, we issued a little over $2.1 million of new loans. We received a little over $520,000 in principal. We had $160,000 in bad debts, like actual bad debts, not reserves, and $108,000 in interest on their portfolio in the year. So, like Anna said, I think it's been a great program, and again, more to come, and you know, we'll see what the board wants to do with some of those funds as they become defederalized? Like that? Okay, got it. So again, income and expenses, you can see year to date, as our bread and butter program, you can see how consistent that is on both a year to year and a budget basis. Our earnings on our banks are over budget, really mainly because the rates didn't come down as much as we had anticipated. We kind of held a little bit steady where we were throughout 2025. That may change in 2026. Certainly the success of the micro loan grant program, more loans than we had anticipated getting out the door, right? We thought we were going to be here probably middle of the way through 26, still working on that, but I would say we're 6 to 8 months ahead of schedule, where we thought we would be 12 months ago. And like I said, and I think the county executive hit on it, the bond fee income, when that comes through, that is all things that we don't count on and we never budget for. And as you can see, almost $1.9 million of fees generated, from an accounting basis this year. most of our expenses are fairly consistent. You'll see a couple different variations to budget, certainly on the general administrative side. That really is due to what I would say a budget miscalculation, more than anything else, or more of an overspending of anything. It was just we had anticipated, based on the amount of micro loans that were going out, we were gonna get more reimbursements. The calculation just wasn't accurate, so that's why it looks like we have spent more than our budget, but as you can see, our general and administrative compared to prior year is more on track. And then, like I said, our bad debt expense, which includes both our write-offs and our reserves, that's a straight calculation of our portfolio. We are gonna look at that at year-end time. We are in the process of starting our annual audit with our external auditors. We are gonna look at that a little bit more closely and figure out that we're most likely gonna make an adjustment, you know, to see if we need to reduce that potentially, to reduce that reserve where we are. So more to come on that, but overall, like I said, we have almost $2.9 million, almost $3 million of excess cash and revenue over our expenses. Quite a bit more than we had budgeted. Certainly, you know, last year was a great year, and obviously our balance sheet or our statement of financial position represents those couple really solid years put together, and like Hanif and everyone is talking about, gives us the ability to support programs and initiatives that this board certainly deems to be, you know, appropriate.
So you're gonna, in that 2-1, is some of that part of what you've now invested or no?
In that
Cash.
that's already, no, that's in addition to, we've already, the million's already out of that 2-1.
So are you gonna invest that?
Well, the most of that 2-1, 1.3 is the micro loan. Now, again, the reason we've held the micro loan fund kind of at $1 million or so is we had anticipated increasing the loans out, that we were gonna go from 50,000 to 100,000. So we've kind of kept that, hey, in reserve. We may look at that here and take, you know, I think the thought is we may take a $500,000 off the table, kind of get everything whole, right? Because MCIDC initially funded that, so we probably will at least do that, depending on what these next 3 months look like for some of those micro loan.
And we're still under the ARPA contract, so that money's not necessarily ours to go put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would leave that one to the lawyer, but.
No, that's correct.
Understand it's the micro loan grant income, that's the money that.
Gets back when we loan it out.
Plus administrative expenses.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Any more questions, for Craig? Okay, we've got the BOCES CDL program. We're gonna try to increase the funding for that. We had a discussion on that. Anna, do you wanna?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, you'll recall that, I think this was the November meeting that BOCES was with us, and, you know, they're one that they come to us with a request, and they are very conservative about what they ask of MCIDC, but this is a very productive and successful program. They did indicate in that presentation that they were interested in, they needed a little bit more in the way of resources to purchase a vehicle. So you'll see on pages 7 to 9 in your packets, some justification here. This is a request for funding not to exceed $195,000 for a new bus for Monroe to Orleans BOCES. And the details of the bus's valuation through New York Bus Sales is on page 8. They gave us a lot of detail here. Again, honest brokers at BOCES. So this will help BOCES be able to train students on and receive the passenger endorsement, which is necessary for CDLs to increase trainees' employability. And so this will help them access, and this will help them train more of their students on more types of vehicles and enhance their employability as a result. So a worthwhile investment for MCIDC.
So we get the bus, we retrofit it, and then they wrap it, and it, I think it has Phil's name on it.
I have one question about it, very supportive of this. My understanding is with New York law, all buses purchased in like large commercial vehicles purchased after January first next year will have to be electric, which means 3 to 4 times the price of these buses. Given we have a lot of money, should we ask BOCES to give us a proposal to maybe replace some of their aging fleet or expand their fleet proactively? Cause if they come to us next year or the year after, that's gonna cost us potentially 5x what it, like I'm working with school districts right now, I know these costs, like potentially 5x what it would cost this year to either replace if there's an aging fleet or something of that nature. I don't think that has to be decided, I think this can be approved before that, but just a suggestion, like.
We will circle back with BOCES with that question. I think these are used vehicles that are kind of being retired and taken offline such that they can offer training. That opens up a question though as to, do the training service centers have to utilize the modern equipment that is being required by other state and federal policies? So we'll ask that question of BOCES and get them. But that's a good point.
Yeah, I think, electric buses, in the future, are going to that. You know, those are gonna be awful expensive, but, they're not training anybody on those right now. And, what they're asking for this right here, is that, people are being trained, CDLs, for these buses right here. And what they first asked for, in terms of, the buses, I understood it, is that, they have the training need, for the bus, but they were like renting or, leasing, or they had another, way of getting this training in. It would be just better for them to have their own bus. And so that's what we acted upon.
They told us how much a new bus would cost, and we said, why don't you just get a new bus?
Right.
Right.
They were gonna buy a used, I think
Because
they
they
were
were
gonna buy a
gonna-
used truck,
They
and
were
then
gonna
only rent.
refurbish it to whatever, and they wanted that, and
So, to your point, is that they have yet to come to us about that.
Yeah, I'm saying to not have them buy electric vehicles. I'm not here
Yeah,
as
buy 'em
arguing,
early.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying like, if there's things that they need, buy them when you can still buy gas or diesel, because otherwise you're
Right.
3 to 5xing
Right.
the cost of what they're
Right.
gonna
Oh,
spend.
without a doubt, yeah.
And for an initiative that, while is law right now, who knows if that stays the way it is, but.
Well, we can solve that right now, cause I have a motion. And the motion is to approve an increase to the contract with Monroe County to Orleans BOCES Center for workforce development to purchase a pre-owned school bus to be used for CDLB driver's training class, not to, exceed $195,000.
Motion or second, whatever.
You got the motion there, second there, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We're there. Software, you gotta talk, but I gotta ask the question first. I was told that, we were getting, some type of device.
I will get them, I will go get them, I have them at the end of the meeting. I have
Oh,
them.
okay, all right,
Yes.
that's all right.
Yep,
No, I just, you
just
know,
in my carry on like they're
Everyone's getting an iPad today.
I didn't wanna run home without mine.
Don't leave without your
Don't leave
iPad.
without your iPad.
Okay, don't leave without it. Go,
On the subject of modern technology and working smarter, not harder, take pages 11 to 16 in your packet is really kind of an infomercial for CivicServe, which is, it's kind of like Salesforce, but for economic development organizations. Really powerful resource. Your sister board, Comida, approved allocating some resources to allow us to bring this technology in-house and take advantage of it. We had been using a really clunky, outdated, customer relationship management platform up till now. This is gonna allow us to do more, better, to better serve the clients that we serve. I'm gonna ask Allison if you have an elevator pitch here as to the ask and the value proposition.
The elevator pitch is what we currently have is terrible, and staff does not like it. That's my elevator pitch as staff, and Robin can chime in too. This is gonna help us, this is gonna be able to help us with our CRM portion, but it also has other things integrated with it, like GIS capabilities and things like that. So it's a total $35,000 ask, but they
Talk about synergy between Community and MCIDC.
Yes.
This is a prime example
Yes.
of behind the scenes synergy.
Okay, we got 17 on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so technically behind the scenes, MCIDC and Comida are kind of running from the same circuit in terms of, so it helps us to
Yeah, we all do it all in the same day.
do that cross-pollination,
I see
take a deal
35
from.
right here, we got 17 on it.
It's, the whole thing is 35 and we
got
If
17.
you wanna pay
It's a
15,
fifty
MCIDC
split
portion was
between
15,
Comida and
Comida was
MCIDC.
20, but if you wanna pay 17, that's fine. I mean, we have to.
No, go ahead, finish.
So really, you're approving this for staff.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a tool, and we're already spending some dollars on an older outdated tool, so this allows us to, modernize.
Okay, so I see it here, motion to approve and reimbursing Comida for the use of, the Civic Serve CRM database software program in the amount not to exceed, 15,000 annually.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Got all the quarterly reports?
I was gonna ask with your permission, due to time, because I covered a lot of this at a high level in our presentation, we can skip over this, but, reference it in your packet, look at it, and get back to us if you have questions or concerns about any of the metrics.
Okay, we're at number 11 here, committee assignments. Motion to appoint the committee chairs and members as presented.
Motion.
the same as last year. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Thank you all for your willingness to serve, to continue to serve in the officer.
We need a motion to adjourn. There's no food.
Coming. I hear it.
Motion.
I think it's Papa Joe's.
I know.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for bearing with us through the presentation and for your valuable insights. We've got chicken French. And,
Way to go.
yeah.
And I canceled my 1 o'clock just so I could stay and eat.
Hey, Joe, sometimes we have clients asking, oh, I need to do some electrical upgrade, or I'm replacing some big piece of equipment that was gas, now it's electric. Is there, and they're always asking,
We have a lot of grants for
yeah,
that.
who do